Awesome. So let's not waste any more time. We're already almost 10 minutes past the hour here, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Look, the mission statement for my online training business, when I first ventured out into deciding that, hey, I got a really good thing going here with local marketing, and I want to teach this to other people, I created a mission statement for that new kind of business venture I was going into. And that was, I wanted to provide great training that I could teach local marketers how to go out there and provide great clients for small business owners. Well, that's how it initially started, but that started to transform in and of itself because as I started getting into more high-end coaching, working closely with one-on-one with people, I started to realize that it wasn't necessarily providing the services where people needed so much help. It was actually landing the client. So I started to switch that mission statement a little bit. And now my focus is really on trying to help you guys get some awesome results as far as getting clients, getting local clients to come to you. Would you guys agree with me that that's one of the biggest struggles? I mean, in the past year and a half now, since I've been doing high-end coaching and working one-on-one with people, that's like the biggest struggle I come across. Give me a 3 if you'd agree with that. You know, you guys probably already know how to provide awesome services to business owners, but the problem is convincing those business owners to work with you, right? Lots of 3s, lots of yeses. So that's what I want to focus this training on today. So we're going to have some great stuff in store, and I want to show you some slides, some inspiring slides on the screen. Give me a 1 in the chat box if you can see that slide, the PowerPoint slide on my screen. Awesome. All right, so let's just kind of go through these slides, and we'll kind of go through what they say. So this came in, says, I've been waiting for someone to contact me with a sensible lead generation. I at least need a phone number and email with each lead. I can take it from there. Give me both options. 1, what percentage do you want? 2, what would the flat rate per lead be? Are these local leads? I'm willing to travel. Here's my website so you can see what locations I travel in. Not only is this an awesome lead because they're asking me for, or an awesome customer contact because they're asking me for pricing, right? But they're also telling me, hey, I'm not only going to be a good client for this area, but I want to work with you in a bunch of different areas. So those clients are great when you can expand. Here's another slide, and these might be a little bit hard to see because these are snippets from the email, so I blew them up as big as possible. This one basically just says, please call me, okay? He wants me to call him. You can see the subject of it was leads, subject of the email. And then this one, this came from an electrician. He just said 8 to 10%. He's telling me what he's willing to pay me per lead, basically. All right, so what do these 3 deals I made have in common? What do these 3 deals I made have in common? Anyone have any guesses? Okay, so a couple of people saying they don't see anything. Do you guys see the slide on the screen that says what do these 3 deals have in common? Okay, cool. Yeah, they came to me. A lot of people saying that. So let's just go through it. They all came in on the same day, first off. All 3 of those came in on the same day. All of them were done without a single cold call. I didn't have to get on the phone and try to hustle up business. And the clients came to me 100% on autopilot. Not only did they contact me, but I didn't reach out to them or do anything beyond the initial setup. They all came to me on the same day, and they contacted me 100% on autopilot. How awesome is that? All right, so during the next 30 minutes or so, maybe even a little bit less, I'm going to teach you how I did that, all right? So straight to the point. So there's 2 ways to do local marketing, okay? And I think we'll agree on this. Way number 1 is you get the client, then get that client the results. So, for instance, you approach Bob's Plumbing, say, hey, Bob, I'm Paul James. I'm this awesome SEO expert, and I'm going to put your company on the first page of Google, and you're going to pay me X amount of dollars per month to do this for you. And why don't you give me a couple grand, and we'll go ahead and put you on the first page of Google, right? That's way number 1. Way number 2 is you get the results first and then get the client. So you get them some results, then try and secure the client. Now let me ask you, which way do you think is easier? Way number 1 or way number 2? Put it in the chat box. Okay, so overwhelmingly everyone is in agreement that way number 2 is by far easier. Okay. Because there's nothing left to prove. I mean, you kind of bypass the whole building up trust thing because you're already showing them results. You kind of bypass having to build authority. I mean, you kind of already do that because there's the results. So the client just naturally wants to work with you. So I'm guessing we've got 2 groups of local marketers on this call today. And I just kind of want to take a poll to see which group you're in, just so that I kind of know as we move forward how to tailor my training. So we've got group number A. You have a site all built, but you are unsuccessful obtaining a client. So you have a site all built, maybe even ranked on the first page or just a nice site built, but you just haven't had any luck securing a client for that site. So up until now, there's just been, no luck. Who here is in group A? Okay, quite a few people in group A. All right, so who here is in group B? You're starting from scratch. You haven't even ventured out to try and build a site or anything like that. You just kind of really don't know where to start. Okay, so we got a few people in group B too. Looks like we're split pretty 50-50 down the center. Okay, so I'm going to be able to help both of you on this call, but those of you who are sitting in group A right now, you're just a little bit ahead of everyone else, because what I'm going to share with you, you're going to be able to take and apply to all of your existing sites and instantly be able to grab clients for those sites. How cool is that? Okay, and group B, not a big deal. You're going to see kind of what this whole strategy is, and you're going to be able to take action on it right away after today and actually get going and have a clear path to take to get there. Okay, so let me show you this kind of groundbreaking information, groundbreaking strategy that I stumbled upon. And sometimes it's like the simplest ideas that just work. You wonder why you didn't think of them earlier, and that's kind of how I felt about this strategy. So once I explain this to you, let me know if there's light bulbs going off, okay? So here's how it works. This is what I started doing. Lead comes into your website, right? Let's say someone's looking to get a furnace installed or something like that. So they come into your website that you've built and whatever. Maybe you're driving traffic to it from SEO or pay-per-click or however. It doesn't really matter. How you drive traffic to the site doesn't matter. But the lead comes into the site and they're interested in getting a new furnace. Well, what's the first thing they usually want to know? If you want a new furnace, what's the first thing you usually want to know when you come into a site? Anyone have any ideas? Usually want to know cost, yeah. Probably cost, or you want to get in touch with someone some way or some shape or form. So here's what we do. We got a form on the site to basically find out what it's going to cost or whatever. So they can fill out their information, attach a picture of what their current furnace looks like, enter in some details like their square footage or whatever. So I mean, just a typical lead gen form. This isn't anything groundbreaking yet. But normally what happens, if you have a site and you have this lead gen form on there and you don't have a client yet, what's the point of that form usually? Usually nothing. It usually ends up just going to like your own email until you can sell the site to someone or lease it to someone, right? So the leads are basically useless at that point. Well, here's what I started doing. I started taking all the sites where I couldn't sell them because I just didn't either have the time or I didn't feel like cold calling people and selling them because I just had too much going on. And what I started doing was I started taking those forms and I started emailing them. When leads would come in and fill out the form, instead of them coming just to my email inbox and sitting there, I started sending them off to like 10 or 15 different heating contractors in that area. So not only did I email that form to these different business owners, but I emailed real fields from the form. So if the customer uploaded a picture of their furnace, I would email off like the picture of the furnace to these heating contractors. And I would email off like what the square footage of their home was and stuff like that. But I wouldn't give them like a first name and last name or anything or contact details. Not until I actually worked out a deal for them to buy that lead for me or work out a permanent deal to buy all of my leads or whatever, or lease the site, whatever you want to do. So let me show you what one of these emails looks like. I'm going to grab my pen tool here and we'll highlight some things. So this is for a drywall lead gen site that I have. So it says, need a quote. This is a subject line that I sent out with the form. And this is all done on Autopilot, by the way. I'm going to show you how I do it on Autopilot. It says, need a quote for drywall in Milwaukee. Hi, I was wondering if you could give me a ballpark estimate on this. We're looking to get drywall hung and mudded in our rec room. It's approximately 900 square feet. Thanks. Okay, they reply, Okay, price is going to be around $1,300 to $1,500, right? That's a ballpark estimate. Awesome. So what I did at this point was I followed up with this lead, right? I'm in touch with them now. They've contacted me back, and I didn't have to reach out to them initially because the lead gen part of it did all the work, and I'll explain how that works. But I was able to reach back out to them and say, great, this is actually a lead that came in from one of my websites. I'm happy to send the information to you. How much are you going to pay me for it? And I'll keep sending you the rest of them. But let me show you the beauty in this. So this part right here, need a quote for, this was all kind of just lock stock. This goes out on every form. But this part where it says drywall and this part where it says Milwaukee, this was tailored based on whatever they entered in the form. So like they could have entered in that they needed a new deck, and it would say need a quote for a new deck in Milwaukee. Or they could have entered in there in Waukesha, need a quote for a deck in Waukesha, right? So that comes dependent, dynamic on what they put in the form. This stuff, again, right here that I'm putting into a box, this is all just lock stock, comes in through every email. But this part right here, where the arrow's pointing, we're looking to get drywall hung and mudded in our rec room. This came specifically pertaining to that specific customer and then that specific lead. And then this part right here, 900 square feet, our form asked how many square foot the house is. And then we lock that in there. So that part is unique to the customer as well. Okay, so here's why this is awesome. This form, this part right here, this email, because they filled out a lead request on our website, this got sent out to like 10 or 15 different drywall contractors at the same time. And then it provoked responses like this. Now I know they're interested in the lead, interested in the job. So that's why I wanted to show you these emails at the beginning, because what happens is after I contact them back and say, hey, this is actually a lead that came in from my website. What do you think? Do you want to buy them from me? They answer with stuff like this. What percentage do you want? Okay? What percentage do you want? What would the flat rate per lead be? Well, this one told me they'll pay 8 to 10%. So let's come back here. We already know that one of the people pay 8 to 10%. They told me this job was going to be $1,300 to $1,500 ballpark. What's 10% of $1,500? $150 a lead, right? That means I'm making $150 a lead now, and this thing's practically sold itself automatically because my leads did the work. The results did the work for me. Okay? Who here has light bulbs going off right now? Is this making sense? And it's going to make more sense as I show you how I'm doing this all on autopilot. Okay, lots of light bulbs going off. Awesome. Todd says, aha. Great. Okay, so these are the kind of responses that are being provoked here. So let's go and take a look at one of my sites. Can you guys see this on the screen, the Google search? Okay, so this is one of my roofing sites, Brookfield Roofing, and I've got it ranked right here, a couple of them actually. But we're going to click on it and show you. So, the lead comes into the website, traffic's driven to the site via SEO or however you want to do it, and boom. Their call to action on these sites are get a quote. So they can fill out their contact details. Here's the city field, right? That's going to be inserted dynamically into the emails that get sent out. Service option, I want to know if they want a roof repair or install. I asked them to attach a picture of the house if they have one, because it'll help us give them a more accurate quote. And then like a more info tab, right? This is going to be populated dynamically in the form or in the email that I get sent out. So let me show you how we put these together. Okay, so the purpose of this webinar is to provide you with awesome training, and then I'm also going to offer you a chance to access my new software that I've built. So I want to show you, okay, I've got to reload this page because it logged me out, unfortunately. I'm going to show you how the software works. I came up with this software to automate this process because it was nearly impossible to take a submission that came in from a form and send it off to like 15 different people. So I wanted to automate that process and turn it into an autopilot type of thing. So I developed this software called Requestimate, and it's absolutely game-changing. It stands for like request and estimate, right? Because that's essentially what we're doing. So what you can do with Requestimate is you can set up these forms for as many different sites as you have, I just set up a new account for doing these webinars to show you how they work so that you can see what a new account looks like and how you kind of get started. But let's just kind of go through this. So you come into the software, and I'll try and make it just a little bit bigger so you can see it good. Come into the software and you hit add form. Okay, we'll go through this kind of slowly, so just stick with me here. So let's say that we're making this form name for you know, a roofing company. We'll just use that example. So I'm going to say roofing company, whatever. Or maybe we'll just call it Brookfield Roofing. Maybe it's for that site. Okay, so the success message is what they're going to see after they fill out the form. So I mean, in this case, I'm telling them to get a quote. And you could definitely do this for something else. You know, you could say just get in touch with us or something. But for the purpose of this, I actually want them to fill it out to get a quote. So I'm going to say, thanks, we've received your quote will be, or your quote request. We'll be in touch soon. Awesome. So that's what they're going to see after filling out the form. So now it's time to build the form, and we can build it really easily in here. It's just drag and drop. You know, you put in your text input sections or whatever you want. Hit the little edit button. So let's say we're going to call this name. This is going to be the name field, and we'll just put first and last name. If I can spell. Okay, first and last name. I'm going to get rid of the help text underneath it. That's this part right here. And I am going to make it required, so we'll save that. Okay? I'm actually just going to call this, for the label text, just name. I think it'll look a little bit better. Okay. Name. All right, so for this field, we'll call this one phone, because I already know that most people are going to want a phone number with their leads, so call this phone. And we don't need a help text. I'm going to require this field as well. We'll do an email input for this one. We'll just call it email. And I think that's self-explanatory. Don't need a help text. We'll save that. Okay, so here's where I want to start getting creative here, so I can insert dynamic fields into the emails that go out. I'm going to start putting in stuff like, what city are you in? So we're going to call this form city, so that the contractors know what city their potential prospect is in. And I'm going to make that required. And then I'm going to do a multi-select option. So we'll just do one of these basic select. So we'll just call this service. And I just want to know whether they're looking for like a roof repair or a roof install. That way the customer knows, or my customer knows kind of right off the bat, whether this is going to be like a really big installation job or whether it's just kind of maybe a little repair. Okay, so we'll put that in there. Okay, this is cool. I like to add these image uploader fields to my quote request forms because not only is it awesome for the contractor to be able to see what they're looking at, like for furnaces and stuff, they can take a picture of their existing furnaces, or they might take a picture of their house for the roof, but give them a more accurate quote, and it adds real legitimacy to our leads. When these leads come out to them with an actual picture attached, they're like, okay, this is a real person. This isn't some hoax. This is someone who's got an actual lead for me. All right, I'm going to act on this. So that helps when customers upload these. I don't require this field though, because not everyone's going to want to take the time to add in an image, but when people do, it's helpful. So I'm going to say, if you have an image of your house, it will help us give you a more accurate quote. Cool. So we'll save that. And then we'll add in a more info tab too. We'll do one of these big text input areas. And then this is really going to be for the customer to tell us exactly what their house is about. Let's call it info. I'm going to say, tell us exactly what you need done. Okay, so we're coming kind of into the home stretch here, and we're going to require that field so that we know exactly what they need done. And then we're going to put in a submit button. Okay, so the form's built that quickly. I don't want it to be called submit button, though. I want to make it say get quote or something catchy and eye-grabbing. And I don't want that check mark on there, so I'm going to eliminate that check mark, and let's just do this danger color scheme. Boom, there we go. So we're going to save that. Our form is built. Now here's where things get interesting. And I'll show you how these settings work. It's now time to send out the form. So customer comes into the website, fills out their information. Who are we going to send it to? Where is it going to go? So we need to start off by putting a sender name. I normally like to just use like a regular person's name. You know, just use like a fictitious name, or you can use your own name. But for the email address, I don't recommend using like a company email address. I recommend setting up maybe like just a Yahoo account. Just make it sound something like a regular customer. Call it like, you know, Janet Johnson 123 or something like that at yahoo.com. Obviously go and really register an email account. But the point is don't make this sound like a business. You know, you want this to sound like this is coming from a customer, because it legitimately is a real lead. We're just not going to give the real lead's information until we agree on a price. And then this is where things get awesome. So now we're going to say where we want the leads for this form to go to. So if we don't have a client for Brookfield Roofing yet, we're going to go and do a Google search for Milwaukee roofers or whatever, and we're going to grab as many email addresses as we can for roofing companies, and we're going to send the leads to all of those roofers until it provokes a response like this. Okay? We're going to send the leads until it provokes a response like this. Does that make sense? Give me a 1 so far if you guys are following. And I'll answer questions as well once I explain a little bit more. Okay, so I want to make sure you guys are following. Okay, so I'm going to send leads to myself, for one, just so I know when new leads are coming in, and then I can come back into the software and see where they went and stuff like that. But then I'm going to go and, you know, just grab the name of roofers. We'll go and type in Milwaukee roofers into Google. And you can go into each of their individual sites, you know, look up their emails on the contact tab of their site, or you can just grab their URL and punch it into like this site's who.is. You can punch in their URL here and then scroll down, and it'll usually show you who owns the site. So here's their email address, right? So maybe I'm going to send it to him. So we'll put it separated by commas. Okay, I'm going to have to type that. We'll just pretend though. I'm not really going to send them these emails. We're going to send it to Bob at bobsroofing.com. Maybe we're going to send it to Harry at harryroofing.com. We're going to send it to John at John. You get the point, right? At roofing.com. I could just do this as many times as I want. 10, 15 times, it doesn't matter. And I'll show you how we actually deliver these emails and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to save that. So now every time someone comes into my Brookfield Roofing site and fills out one of these forms, they're going to be sent out to not just one of those contractors, but all of them until we get a response and until we sell the leads. Okay, so here's where things get interesting. It's time to actually set up our email and how we want it to go out. Give me a 3 in the chat box if you see these dynamic fields down here in the red. The placeholder tags: name, phone, email, city, service, more info. Okay, those are fields from my form, the form that I just created, right? Name, email, phone, city, service, right? Those are the exact fields. So depending on, you know, if John fills out the form and they put John in here, when the leads are sent out, if I put the name field in here, then it's going to replace name with John or whoever filled out the form. So we don't want to give them that much information yet. So instead, for the email subject, we're going to say, need a quote for roof service, right? That's the service tag right here, in city. So then it's going to say, if someone puts in Brookfield here and they select repair, then the form is going to say here, need a quote for roof repair in Brookfield. Okay, so it's dynamic based on what the lead inputs. We can choose if we want to attach the images for them. So I like to attach them because then they get a sense that this is a real legitimate lead. And then here's how I like to structure my email. So I say, hi, are you available to provide a ballpark estimate on this? Question mark. Okay, and here's where things start to get dynamic. I'm looking to get I'm going to put in the service type, a roof service. So it's either going to say roof repair or roof install. I'm located in We're going to put in the city tag. Then we're going to put in the more info tag. So they might have came into the form here in the more info section. Please tell us exactly what you need done. They might have said, my roof is leaking in the living room and I really need it repaired, right? So that's where they're going to put in the more info tab. And then we'll just sign off, thanks. Okay, so it's dynamic, real fields from the lead. We're providing real results. Then we can take this form. The form is done now, right? There it is. We can shrink it and stuff, obviously. And we grab this embed code and we put it on our site. So this one I'll log in the site and show you. I put it just in the widget tab. Just show you what it looks like really quickly. Appearance, widgets. And this will work on anything. I mean, even an HTML site, it's universal. So here it is. This is my code. I just put it in the widget tab. All right, so it fits no matter what. You can put it on a separate page, but the bottom line is you want it there in front of everyone. And I think this jumps out at you. All right, so there it goes. The lead goes off. It provokes a response. They respond to it, and then you close the deal. You say, this is actually a lead that came in from my website. Do you want it? Give them a price. Ask them how much they're willing to pay. And then you get responses like the ones that I showed you, right? Like the one that said, you know, what's the price, or I'll pay it to 10%. Boom, close the deal. Okay, so how are we sending all of these emails out? Right, because we're going to be sending like 10 or 15 out. So if you come into the settings tab of Requestimate, I've integrated a few different integrations, and this is something I'm using internally here, and that's why I built the software, and I wanted to make this available to you as I started to play with it, and I just thought, man, this is something that could really change the lives of my customers, because it solves so many different problems. It solves the problem of, what do I charge for my services? Because people give you a price. They say, well, this is going to cost $1,500, and that contractors are willing to pay 10%. So now you know how much your lead is worth. So you know what to charge. It also, you don't have to contact people. The contact happens automatically. So by the time you're actually talking to someone, it's because they've reached out to you first. So we integrate with SendGrid and MailJet. Those are like the premium services. But get this. SendGrid gives you 6,000 email sends a month for free. So you can get started with SendGrid, and I mean, you're going to do some real damage with 6,000 emails a month. I mean, you might not even have to upgrade for a while, not until you have quite a few sites up. MailJet as well does something similar. They let you integrate up to 4,000 free sends per month. So real easy to integrate. You literally sign up for a SendGrid and MailJet account, which is free. You don't even have to enter in credit card information. And once you grow, you can sign up for one of their paid plans after you exceed 6,000 emails per month. They give you that every month, by the way. And it's like $9 then after that. But you're going to do a lot of damage for a long time. You just enter your username and password, and boom, they send out the emails on your behalf. So you can send a lot of emails that way. Otherwise, I've also integrated Gmail and Yahoo integration. So, if you want to integrate with one of those, you can. But Gmail and Yahoo, if you're using them, they're going to get pretty irritated with you after you send like 10 emails. So I recommend going with SendGrid or MailJet if you're doing a lot of volume like I am. And you will be. I mean, once you get your lead gen form up on the site, it's going to do a lot of stuff. So once a customer fills out these leads or whatever, you have the ability to come back in and track them, like to do your billing and stuff. There's a submissions tab here, and I've only filled out a form once just as a demo. I did that on the last webinar, which was Thursday. But basically, you can select which form you want to show. So I only have this roofing client form that had a submission come in, but if I had a heating form or something and I had 5 people submit to that, I would select it from the drop-down arrow. It would show all the leads. It would show, who they went to, the date they came in, and you can sort all that stuff, and you can actually search through them. So if you want to see, if you have to search for a specific lead that came in and the customer wants to know more, you can easily come in here and do that. And so that's pretty cool. So the lead tracking is all built in there with it, which is awesome. All right, so that's the deal with it. It's really awesome. Any questions? Okay, is your software a plugin for a website? No. This is the beauty about the software. I host everything, so you're not going to ever have to worry about hosting anything. It's hosted in the cloud. You're not going to have to worry about installing it on WordPress or anything like that because it's hosted. You know, you don't have to worry about multi-compatibility with Windows or Mac. Any device that you can log in on the internet, you can come in and create these forms. It's all web-based. And then you get that embed form, and you just literally copy and paste it. It's just an iframe form, and you embed it on any of your sites. Sean says that's a great resource. Thanks, Sean. Glad you like it. Awesome. Can this be used for other languages? Absolutely, because you can customize the forms. It can be any language you want, Ryan. All right, what about if you serve different industries? You can do this in multiple industries. We've done it in the insurance industries. We've done it for our bankruptcy attorney client. We've actually set up just a single landing page with the forms on it and ran PPC ads to it from Facebook and generated the leads that way. And we've also done it with Craigslist as well. All right, how do I get leads to my lead gen site? John says. Well, one way is you can run PPC ads. My favorite way personally, because it's free traffic, is SEO. So I actually show you how to set this all up in the training section. We have 18 videos in here. The first 5 videos right up here at the top, they're little menu options. These just go through how to actually get your form set up, what email copy you should use, and how to embed it. But then there's this training section, and this is where I show you how to drive traffic. So those of you who were in group B when I took that poll, who are starting from scratch, you can pop into this training section, go through these videos. I think there's maybe 13 videos just in this section. And once you're through, they're really straight to the point. You know, I'm not going to waste your time on these videos and babble on. You know, each video is, 5 to 10 minutes, straight to the point, step by step, how to pick a niche, how to set up the site, how to structure it, how to set up your permalinks. And then I go over different backlinking strategies. Now, these are the same strategies I've used to rank my sites. Same strategy I used to rank the Brookfield Roofing site. If you go into Google and search for remove bad reviews, it's the same strategy I used to rank my course. My course is hovering from number 1 to number 2 in Google for remove bad reviews. And to be honest, this took me a whole 3 minutes to rank this site. Okay, as you can imagine, that's a really competitive term. This is for my reputation management course. Remove bad reviews. You know how many people are searching for remove bad reviews? And I'm competing against huge internet companies like reputation.com. So same strategies I use to rank that, and they're included in here. I show you how to steal backlinks from competitors. I show you how to find relevant backlinks. And both of these ways are actually free ways to get backlinks. It doesn't cost anything. I include some search queries. But then I get into more advanced techniques. If you're doing stuff with high competition, I show you how to start a private blog network, which basically means you have a network of sites that you can use whenever you want to build a new lead gen site. You can use to link to your sites. So I show you how to set those up and how to hide your footprints and stuff like that. Just really great training. This is some of my best training I've ever put out, actually. So that's included with this software, which is a huge plus. I also show you how to I'll show you how I recreate these networks from start to finish. This video is a little longer, about 30 minutes, because it's over my shoulder from start to finish. But man, it's just some of the best training I've ever done. I think it's my best training yet. If I had to put a rating on it, I'd say it's my best training yet. But I also show you how to find high PR domains for just $9, which is cool too. So pretty awesome stuff that's included with it, and that's, you learn how to drive the traffic. Okay, I'm going to answer a couple more questions, and then I see people wanting to know how they can get in and what the price is, so we'll go over that too. All right, if you use the same form on different sites, you can use the same form on different sites, but your lead tracking will be off a little bit because you won't know exactly which site it came in from. So if you want, just set up different forms. You can create unlimited forms with this, Randy. So if you've got 2 roofing sites, then you can set up 2 forms for each of those roofing sites. Or if you don't care where the leads came from, you can put that same form on both roofing sites. It's up to you. Yeah, Dave, that's right. No need for that at all. Awesome. Okay, so I'll go through everything. Sean says, as usual, very complete training. Ticks all the boxes. Thanks, Sean. I'm glad you enjoy it. All right, cool. Let's go through the cost details. I see a lot of people wondering how they get in, what's the cost, and all that good stuff. So here's the deal. I'm eventually going to make this a monthly price. Like, I built this out to use internally, but there's going to be a cost for me, obviously, to manage it and host all this stuff. And I've got programmers on staff that I'm paying to continually update it and stuff like that. And it's just the best software I've ever put out, ever created. It just bug-free, works awesome. So I'm going to be doing this as a software as a service eventually, and I'm going to charge, a higher monthly fee, probably around $145 a month or something like that for it, or $200 a month. And I'm going to raise it to that price and do a monthly fee. But I want some case studies to use before I do that. I want people to try it out, and I want to hear some success stories before I do that. So I'm opening up some charter member pricing. So if you guys want in, this is the time to get in as a charter member, and I'm going to break down the details of the charter member pricing. So it's a one-time payment for the charter members of $497, and that will include your first year of use with the software. So you get all the training, you get set up with the software, we set up your account, and that includes your first year of use as well. After that, you're not going to have to pay a monthly fee, but I'm just going to charge a really small yearly fee of $97 to just maintain everything. And that's not going to even be due until a year from now, which, by the way, you can cancel that at any time. So if 5 months go by and you decide you want to pause your account for a couple months or whatever, you can easily do that from right within your account. You don't even need to contact me. There's an account tab, and you can go in and pause your account and cancel the billing at any time you want. But you don't even have to pay that until a year from now. That's just the maintenance fee. So that initial payment covers your first year of use. So you get the high monthly fee waived forever as a charter member, which is awesome. I don't know if you guys remember when GoToWebinar first started, they charged only like $99 a month. Well, now people like me who didn't take advantage of that are stuck paying like $497 a month for the exact same service. So don't let that happen to you here today, because I'm just getting started. I want to get some people in, charter members, so take advantage of that and get in at an awesome deal and get that high monthly fee waived forever. And I'm also offering a 30-day money-back guarantee because I just believe so strongly in this. I finally have solved, I feel I solved the biggest problem for local marketers and completed the mission statement that I was looking to complete for when I started doing online training. So I'm offering a 30-day money-back guarantee as well. So if you decide, in 30 days from now that it's not working out or whatever, then you just hit me up, hit up my team, and we'll refund your money. So here's the deal. If you want it, you get access, pauljames.com/requestimate, but I'm doing something special for the first 20 people that sign up. Okay? For the first 20 people that sign up, I'm also offering bonus coaching. Now, I recognize a few familiar faces in here who have been in one of my coaching programs before. Okay? And here's the deal with that. This program is slightly different from that one because this one is going to revolve around Requestimate and the Requestimate software. But the value of my coaching program, I charge $3,000 right now for coaching. Okay? If you've been on one of my last webinars before, I recently raised the price of my coaching program to $3,000. That's what the current group who's with me right now is paid. And you're going to get in free on just that coaching program when you purchase the software. So, that alone is worth the price of the entire thing, to be honest with you. We're going to work together for 4 weeks. We're going to set up your first site, get you a client, and just connect everything together, which is awesome. So that's not like some fake inflated value. That's like the real actual value. I actually just got off the phone with a student on Thursday, and he paid the $3,000 price. And he told me he's only halfway through, and he told me that he's already gotten so much value out of it to make up for that price that he paid. So that's not some inflated value. That's like legitimate. So I'm going to put the link in the chat box, and then we're going to do a quick recap, and then we're going to do questions. So the link's in the chat box, pauljames.com/requestimate. Go ahead and pick it up. You don't even have to email me or anything for the bonus coaching. What happens is as soon as you sign up and create your account, you're automatically emailed access to the coaching. You get a welcome email, and there's a link to sign up for our first coaching call together. And again, that runs 4 weeks we work together. So that's for the first 20. That's why I'm limiting it, because it's coaching. So awesome. So let's do a quick recap of what you're getting, and then we'll run through some more questions. So you're getting the 18 training videos with it. You're getting the bonus coaching for 4 weeks. You're getting access to the Requestimate software. You're getting the high monthly fee waived forever as a charter member. You're getting tracking on all of your leads. Unlimited dynamic forms. So use on as many of your sites or your client sites as you want. And you're getting the lifetime upgrades. Okay? So I'm going to go through and answer some questions now, and we'll go back to this slide with the link to purchase. That was the wrong slide. There it is. And I can't wait to work with you in coaching as well. All right. Just going through more questions. See, Alan asks, how does it fit in with Google Maps? You could use it with your Google Maps sites as well, as long as you, as long as you own either the address, or if you just have a client and you want to slap a form on, you can do it that way as well. How long does it take a newbie to rank the lead gen site? That depends on a multitude of factors, John. It depends on how long your site has been up and your competition. Now, in the keyword research video and how to pick out a niche video, I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you how to pick out the correct niches so that it doesn't take you very long. You can get these sites ranked within 2 to 3 weeks even. Now, if you have a site that you've already had up for a while, sometimes even quicker, like my that site that I ranked for remove bad reviews, I ranked that site in about a week maybe, if that, using this strategy. So it's not very long. All right. Is that the recorded version? No, the coaching is not. That's not this, David. We're going to work together for 4 weeks in the coaching. So they're going to be separate sessions where we're setting things up together, because I really want you to be successful with this. And when I switch this over to a monthly billing model, I want to have your case studies. I want to be able to have your permission to use your success stories as case studies. And we don't have to show your sites or anything, but just a statement saying, I landed a client from your Requestimate software. Would be awesome if you could give me something like that. So I want to work with you for 4 weeks to help you get that. And that's why I'm doing that bonus coaching on top of it. Because the bonus coaching is worth, beyond the price of this. I mean, I do that on the side already, and that's, $3,000 value. So Ron asks, will there be a replay? I am definitely going to try to send out a replay, because a lot of people have been reporting problems with getting registered for GoToWebinar. So, all right, there is no payment plan. I'm very sorry. Because I'm going to be switching this to the monthly fee, I'm not going to be doing a payment plan on it. So I encourage you to try and find a way to gather the money, or, put it on a credit card and pay the credit card off once you grab a client or something like that. So totally up to you. I thought I was being very reasonable with the $497 price point. So I'm trying to do the best I can for you. And I spent thousands and thousands of dollars developing this software. You can see it's very sophisticated. So hopefully you can make it work. It's a great tool. How long does it take to get paid for the leads on average? Okay, so that depends, Dave, on how you set up your billing. So some clients I actually take in a retainer. I'll take in a retainer and keep that retainer, and then as the leads come in, I just take the money out of the retainer, and when the retainer is gone, I ask them for another retainer. Some clients I bill on a bi-weekly basis and some on a monthly basis. So I just go into the submissions tab of the software, sort by their form, and then look at the leads that came in for that month, and then I bill them for them, and then they pay me. So it's up to you. I like to, if I'm going to do that, I like to grab their credit card information, and then I just automatically bill them. I use authorize.net. You can look into them. They're like $10 a month. And then you can just punch in the credit card. You keep it on file, punch it in, and just auto-deduct it. Kind of like if you've ever paid bills with like your house payment or something like that, or your car payment, you can actually set it up to just auto-bill, and you can kind of do the same thing. All right. Yes, this is small group coaching, Nate. That's why we're limiting it to the 20 people. So that's how it's going to work. I want to make sure I'm able to answer all your questions on the webinar, and that I'm able to help you get the site set up. If you have questions, you can email into me and I can help you specifically look at what you got going on. So that's why we're limiting it to the first 20. And we still have a few spots left. So I know we've got a few people in already. So we have spots left. All right. How long will I keep the offer up? I'm not sure, Sean. Probably for the next 7 days. Okay. Do you charge per lead or per 2-week or monthly period? That's up to you again, Jim. Sometimes I'll just lease the site out to them. You know, I'll just agree on a flat monthly fee and lease the site out to them. And then sometimes I charge per lead. So it's really up to you. I try to negotiate that with the client, whatever is easiest for you. Sometimes people feel more comfortable with charging just a flat rate, and sometimes people feel more comfortable with charging per lead. The per lead sale is definitely easier. So you can feel the client out and see what you think. All right, other than the cost of the software and my training, what additional investment would I need to allocate to implement the program? Well, obviously you're going to need the cost to buy a domain. You can get GoDaddy coupons for like $1.99 for that. You're going to need your cost of hosting, which runs you about $7 to $10 a month. Most people probably already have hosting. Other than that, I made the course so that if you pick a low competition niche, you can use the free methods for getting the traffic, the free backlink methods. So in that case, it won't cost you anything above that. If you want to get, kind of more aggressive and you want to get into a niche where it's a little more competitive, then, you're looking at setting up private blog networks. And even then, I show you strategies where you can secure those for just $9 a site. So even then, it's pretty affordable. So it just depends on which route you choose to go. But as you start to land clients, I suggest you invest towards setting up those private blog networks, because it's the easiest way moving forward in the future. You literally you get a new site up, and then you go into your private blog network, add in links, and you're done. All right. I see quite a few duplicate questions. So if I missed your question, I'm really sorry. If you have any more, feel free to hit up my support desk. I'll put in a link to my email in the chat box. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. So if you have any additional questions, email the link to the support desk. Otherwise, I look forward to working with you in the coaching. pauljames.com/requestimate. And I can't wait to hear your success stories with this, guys. I really appreciate your time today. I know it's a weekend. I know it's a Saturday, so I'm not going to eat up any more of your time. And just thank you so much. I'll try and get the replay out as soon as I can. All right, guys, we'll catch you later. Have a great weekend. And again, my email's in the chat box if you need anything. Happy to answer any more questions that I might have missed.